in LA this week.
It's the one thing that we can do to protect ourselves against a serious respiratory illness this year, and so I encourage everyone to get it as soon as they can.
We should be able to feed approximately 3,000 people today, where we're giving them a week's worth of food.
And I know it's tough with a lot of businesses going in and out with COVID going on, and so for them to be able to hold this ground is pretty impressive.
Hello everyone, I'm Natalia Bilbao. Here's what's happening in LA this week. We begin this episode with a countdown. Fall 2020 means a handful of pretty important deadlines facing the residents of Los Angeles. But the deadline at the top of the list is the one that only comes back around every 10 years. That's right, the team over at the Mayor's Census Initiative are still out pounding the pavement, educating communities, and getting folks counted.
So right here, right now, right behind me, we have our census response events where we give the opportunity for the community to come in and fill out the census.
There's still time. I know there's been a lot of confusion at the federal level, but as it stands today, the census is still live and we're still signing up people, and it's absolutely critical.
And then we have flu shots and COVID testing at the same time.
There's like symptoms with the flu and COVID, and we want to make sure that folks get the flu shot so there's no misunderstanding of when you come down with something, because we want to make sure that folks understand how critical it is to take that flu shot.
It's important because with everything that's going on and everything, it's great to take precautions and get your flu shot, to be vaccinated and ready for the season.
We want people to be safe, and so we're asking people to sign up and get tested for COVID. And this is critical because this is one of the areas where we see high levels of COVID contraction.
Sometimes people don't even know what the census is, and that's because it's not a topic that's always talked about. We only talk about it every 10 years. This is why it's good to have these events for us to come in, have these conversations to individuals that walk by, or come to these events, and talk to them, let them know how important it is about the census.
It's important because you're counted in your community, and your community gets all the benefits that it's needed for the schools and everything.
The number that we come up with will determine the next 10 years in federal funding, and so we need to increase those numbers as soon as possible.
This information that is gathered is specifically stays with the Census Bureau. Not even a court order can decide to release this information to any other departments, not even Homeland Security.
With the new federal stimulus for pandemic relief up in the air, uncertainty has once again begun to rise. Fortunately, the tireless efforts from the LA Regional Food Bank has likewise ramped up its efforts to meet food uncertainty with free food. Take a look.
Today we're having a food drive-through distribution in the city of Mission Hills. Our goal today is to distribute to approximately 1,500 households.
Everyone knows we have a high acuity here. We have a lot of need in this area, and so being able to avail these resources during this difficult time is so important.
So here today, families are walking away with about 80 pounds of food, dairy, produce, some meat items, and then some shelf-stable sort of pantry items.
It means a lot because it helps me to pay other bills I need to pay, mortgage, everything. So it's a big help.
I lost my job. It's been 6 months I've been out of work, and it affects us a lot. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. I'm really grateful and appreciate it that people can donate food for us. Thank you so much.
A lot of these families have never asked for food assistance before. So we want to welcome them. We want to let them know that it's okay to ask for help.
Food incoming and outgoing is up by 125% since the pandemic hit, more than double the amount of food coming in and out.
We recognize that people are feeling demoralized and frightened by the circumstances, but we're not going anywhere. We're going to be here and we're going to be with you every step of the way to make sure that we connect you with the right support that you need during this difficult time.
Information is posted on our website, which is lafoodbank.org. There's a food pantry locator, and on the food pantry locator, it will indicate where we are every single day.
We have food pantries that are operating in my district, 9 of them across my district alone, that also require the support and the assistance of volunteers. So we encourage people to please reach out to my office. We're happy to connect you with those locations.
National Night Out is an annual community building campaign conceived as a night to unite. This family-friendly event promotes police-community partnerships and neighborhood camaraderie. And given the social turmoil Los Angeles has seen this past summer, this opportunity to connect with residents is not something LAPD was willing to pass up, even with a pandemic going on. Check this out.
Tonight is the National Night Out event that we have annually. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic, we were unable to have a traditional National Night Out, so we established a food drive with a food bank to give food to our community members. We should be able to feed approximately 3,000 people today, where we're giving them a week's worth of food.
It's considered national, and so it happens throughout the nation. And here, particularly here in Rampart Division, the focus has been turned around to focus in on what COVID has done to our communities and how we as a police department can help them.
I think it's a great idea for the community, so it can help everyone out, especially the ones that are really have really low income. I really like this, what they're doing.
We are going to have more events throughout the year. We're going to have a fall festival event where we're going to give food during Thanksgiving here at the station as well. And we're going to have a winter event where we're going to give food again.
The doctors and volunteers at Saban Community Clinic were up bright and early this week. The clinic has been instrumental in keeping Angelenos in the surrounding communities in the know and up to date with essential vaccination info. Well, don't look now, but it's flu season again.
Today's another day in our flu drive that we're running for the entire month of October. We're trying to get the community the much needed flu vaccine and trying to minimize the exposures that they have to come into clinic. So we're offering a walk-up and drive-up flu vaccine for the entire month. We're in the middle of a pandemic, which also is affecting the respiratory system very seriously. And so when you have two potentially deadly viruses going around, I think if you have one that you have a vaccine for, we're trying to get everyone protected against it.
The response has been great. We have people lining up hours ahead of our scheduled times. We have people coming in at all hours asking for the flu shot. Even throughout the whole week, we're getting people coming in just asking for the flu shot.
Yo hoy tenía una cita y me dijeron que había una estación aquí en la Melrose. So, decidí venirme para acá.
One thing that we can do to protect ourselves against a serious respiratory illness this year, and so I encourage everyone to get it as soon as they can.
Plans for an East Valley light rail are now on track. The My LA 311 app makes disposing of bulk items easy, and the Latino Theater Company offers a special treat for Latino Heritage Month. These stories up next on City Beat.
Fans of theater can still enjoy performances right from their own homes, courtesy of the Latino Theater Company's virtual online season. These free shows will include archived full productions, live online conversations with company members, and sneak peeks into readings of plays set to be performed on stage in 2021. In recognition of Latino Heritage Month, the LATC will stream all 3 parts of Evelina Fernandez's epic, A Mexican Trilogy, over 3 consecutive Tuesdays. To learn more about Latino Theater Company, visit the latc.org. Metro is planning a new light rail for the East San Fernando Valley. This line extension will expand from the Van Nuys Metro G line to the Silmar San Fernando Metrolink station, covering a total of 9.2 miles. $1.3 billion have been identified for this project, with most of the money coming from local Measure M, Measure R, and state gas tax funds. The city's growing light rail transit network in Los Angeles is making it easier for Angelenos to leave their cars at home and take public transportation. The groundbreaking is scheduled for 2022. This project is expected to be completed in time for the 2028 Olympic and Paralympic Games. For more info, visit metro.net. During the Safer at Home orders, many Angelenos have taken the time to possibly rearrange their homes, or maybe a late spring cleaning. And with that may come some heavy and bulky items that you wish to toss away. What do you do in this situation? The correct answer is to use the MyLA 311 app. Doing this will eliminate the risk of a fine, plus the city will come pick up these items in front of your home for free. Dumping on the sidewalk, streets, or alleys could mean a minimum fine of $200 going up to $25,000, potentially with jail time. Do spring cleaning responsibly. To find out more about the MyLA 311 app, visit lacitysan.org.
COVID-19 has created a public health crisis worldwide. And with this pandemic also comes economic crisis. Many businesses are struggling to stay afloat, while others have closed their doors forever. And that is why it feels so great to hear about stores that are beating the odds. There is at least one LA store chain that is not only surviving, but celebrating its 30th anniversary. Channel 35 was on hand to say happy 30th to Out of the Closet.
We opened up 30 years ago, and we just wanted to celebrate our 30-year celebration of being able to serve people who are living with HIV and AIDS.
When Out of the Closet first opened in 1990, HIV was a fatal disease. There was no life-saving treatment on the horizon. We were providing end-stage care to people who were living with HIV or AIDS. And over the intervening years, we have now grown to be taking care of 1.4 million people in 45 countries around the world. Out of the Closet helps finance some of that life-saving care that we're able to provide, be it in South Central or South Africa.
96 cents on every dollar that is brought through the store goes back regularly, right back to the community. 96 cents on every dollar.
We have 20 locations in 7 states. Most of those locations also provide free HIV testing. So this is a community-based site. People don't have to go to a clinic. They can come shop and get a free HIV test at the same time with the test result that takes 1 minute. If the test turns out positive, we immediately link that person to a linkage specialist who will get them into a clinic appointment and follow them through the initial stages of getting hooked up with a medical provider and with life-saving medicines as well.
I know that Out of the Closet, they tend to look out for the community, and I'm one of their members, so I'm always, looking out for my local thrifts and community, and so, yeah, I support it.
I like the store. It has reasonable prices. I have a limited budget, and it's very good for me.
During the pandemic, people have been cleaning out their closets, so we've been getting a vast increase in the number of donations. Also, because of the economic turmoil, more people are finding out about secondhand clothing and furnishings there. So it is helping in an odd way the actual revenue that we generate, ours and others throughout the nation.
Most clothing is not worth buying brand new. You know, there's plenty of stuff that other people, you know, one man's trash is another man's treasure is a big thing I follow.
And just like that charming regional thrift shop, Venice Family Clinic is a community fixture whose primary existence is founded on helping residents of West Side LA. This beloved SoCal institution is turning 50 this month, and preparations are already underway for the week-long celebration. Take a look.
Venice Family Clinic serves 28,000 men, women, and children across Los Angeles each year. 4,500 of them experience homelessness, and those people struggle sometimes to maintain basic hygiene. So the volunteers behind me, Eleanor and Maya, are putting together hygiene kits, which include toothbrush, toothpaste, shampoo, soap, lotion, and other basic items as part of Venice Family Clinic's 50th anniversary week of action. In the last 50 years, Venice Family Clinic has grown. We are now a thriving network of 14 sites that serve 28,000 people each year.
I came to Venice Family Clinic first as a volunteer because its mission was so important and so compelling, because it's how do we support people when they're at their most vulnerable and when they need it the most.
This is a really easy way for me to give back because you can just put together those sample sizes you may have or hotel size soaps that you may have, travel size things at home just lying around. And so it's really easy to kind of give back to people who need help.
No hay ningún límite en lo que usted puede ayudar. Lo más que usted pueda ayudar, más que va a poder ayudar a nuestros pacientes. Tenemos muchos pacientes que están sin hogar, so esos paquetes pueden ir a muchas personas. Y esos paquetes no solamente es para durante la Semana de Acción de Gracia, pero eso también puede ayudarnos después de la Semana de Gracia.
The official kickoff of the Venice Family Clinic's 50th anniversary begins October 11th. We'll be sure to share all the fun and festivities with you next time. 2 new art installations were erected this past weekend, commemorating holidays that fall in the month of October this year. The Hollywood Palladium hosted Driven, a drive-through art exhibit honoring Latino Heritage Month, and over in Memorial Garden by The Grove, the Holocaust Museum LA gave a multimedia nod to the Jewish holiday of Sukkot. Take a look.
We're proud to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month with this fantastic art exhibition. And we thought this was a great opportunity to kind of present a little way to return back to normal. So people are dying to get out of their house, and we presented this as a safe way to really enjoy those things that you haven't been able to do for a long time. This event is 100% free to the public. It is our gift to get back out, to get back that sense of normalcy that we've lost over the last few months.
This is so LA to me. I'm born and raised here, and you go everywhere in your car, and to look at things from your car makes a lot of sense to me.
We like it. I mean, we tend to go to the museum in person, but this is a good alternative for being able to see art during the pandemic.
I love the interactive experience with the music and the art and even the landscaping. It was really nice.
Really, this is representative of our brand. Our brand is all about progress for humanity, and really what that means is at all times being people forward. Sometimes the best way our brand comes through is to celebrate people. In this case, it's all about celebrating the Hispanic culture. It's meant to be safe. It's meant to eliminate any risk that you might feel you're normally taking because you're doing it all from your vehicle. Also, as part of the precautions, our staff that are on site have gone through a rapid test. So every day, in order to be working, you pass that test to be on site and to ensure kind of a safer experience.
Como latinos, nosotros somos salvadoreños, nos da mucho orgullo. Vemos que hay un artista de Santa Rosa de Copán, de Venezuela. Nos da mucho orgullo ver que nuestra comunidad latina se refleja en el arte acá en Estados Unidos. Es motivo de mucha satisfacción y orgullo para nosotros.
We're labeling this our first Driven event, and definitely look out for us.
Holocaust Museum LA is thrilled to debut its first exhibit since the pandemic started. This exhibit is an art installation in honor of the Jewish holiday, Sukkot.
So the idea is that this year we can't gather in a Sukkot together because of our circumstances. So my reimagining of Sukkot is a Hollywood era movie house. So it's kind of an homage to the golden era of Hollywood.
The purpose of the exhibit is to house and honor the virtual stories of our elders.
I've been traveling the country over the last 3 years, interviewing older role models in their 80s and 90s that really show what it means to have a great last act of your life.
We all need to learn from our elders. They inspire us, and that's what really helps us get through this, challenging time right now.
I've had the good fortune to interview Larry King and Norman Lear and Ellen Burstyn and Tommy Chong and Carl Reiner, which turned out to be his final interview. The most interesting thing right now is that our elders are an overlooked community, yet they're the most resilient to deal with this moment in time. And they have the stories, the experience. They've been through so many different experiences to teach other generations that really haven't had maybe this hardship before. How do you deal with this? How do you get through it? How do you stay positive? How do you live your life in a way that's meaningful? How do you find the blessings during this difficult time?
And to be able to visually hear, a Holocaust survivor, to stand here in a park, being socially distanced, in a very safe way, it's very different than just sitting at home watching something on your computer.
My attempt at building this is really to house the stories of our elders. And it's a call to action that hopefully you'll come out, enjoy this, and then call your grandmother, call your mother, call older loved ones in your life. Talk to them, because time really is of the essence.
I'm delighted to be joined today by Councilman Curran Price from District 9, as well as Dr. Douglas Harrington from Garda Heart. There's a really exceptional event that's going to be taking place in District 9. What's going on down there?
Well, we're going to be providing antibiotic testing for those who are interested and who are concerned. We know how important testing is. We've done it extensively in CD9, and so we're very excited to have Dr. Harrington and his team come to our community to provide this much needed test.
What exactly is this? Because it's an antibody test versus the swab test that tests for active virus.
The test that we're offering at this particular thing is an antibody test. And the reason the antibody test is important is because you're probably more familiar with what's called a swab test. Mm-hmm. The swab test is detecting genetic material from the virus, and it's only for people who have symptoms. The antibody test, on the other hand, is for people who do not have symptoms or who had symptoms in the past and want to know whether they actually had COVID. And so it allows us to do two things. Number one, we can tell you whether what you thought you had in the past was actually a COVID infection. Number two, it will tell you whether or not you've developed a level of immunity to the virus. And the reason that's important is because people who do have antibodies have less virus in their body than people who don't have antibodies, so they're less likely to infect somebody else. There's a third benefit. There are people who are deathly ill in the hospital. And there is some evidence that taking serum donations from patients who have recovered from the virus who have antibodies can be used to treat those people. So you could potentially be a donor for somebody that's severely ill. So that's an added benefit.
Is there a cost to this?
There's no cost. We want to make this available to individuals at no charge. It's very, very important and very critical. Just as there's been no charge for the COVID-19 testing, there'll be no charge for this antibiotic testing as well.
It's intended to encourage all of you to come and get tested. So what it does for our public health is that the swab test was predominantly testing people with symptoms. Mm-hmm. And it turns out that people with symptoms are a smaller segment of the people who actually got infected. And so what this does is it gives us a better idea of what the true prevalence of the disease is in the community. In July and August, we had a lot of what we call the millennials out there doing parties and things during summer break. And very few of them actually got sick, but they spread the infection through all of their friends and themselves, and they brought it home and transmitted it to older people. So it's really important that you know what your status is, and the public health authorities can then get a better idea of what the prevalence of disease is in that community, and they can intervene.
The testing will be at our district office on 43rd and Central. Individuals are encouraged to sign up in advance, and they may do so at gardaheart.org, or they may call 866-299-8998.
A new drive-in movie experience is coming to the LA Zoo. Catch the Ford Theater's new virtual season, and the 3rd annual Real Abilities Film Fest goes online. All this up next on Virtual Things to Do.
The LA Zoo is proud to present their first ever drive-in movie series. This drive-in event will feature cool themes, tasty movie theater fare, available through mobile ordering, trivia challenges, and more. The evening will include a special pre-show video presentation with the zoo's biggest animal stars. This wildly wonderful nighttime experience offers safe, physically distanced fun for all ages and is produced in accordance with county and state health and safety guidelines. Films being screened will include Zootopia, The Lorax, Goosebumps, and more. LA Zoo drive-in movies dominate their screens for 3 consecutive weekends, beginning Friday, October 16th, and runs through November 1st. Tickets are expected to sell out quickly, so get your tickets now. Visit lazoo.org/movies. The Ford Theater is going virtual this season with a series of free events now through December 8th. The Ford's State of LA series features conversations with culture makers, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders in LA's art scene. From world-class dance performances to in-depth discussions and spectacular live music, most of the events can be streamed on Facebook and YouTube. Enjoy all the spoils of the Ford's digital season online through December 8th. Visit theford.com and dive into a massive collection of eclectic art. Real Abilities Film Festival Los Angeles 2020 is a 3-day online festival that showcases new and classic films, conversations, and artistic programs, and that explores, embraces, and celebrates the diversity of our shared human experience. All films are presented with full audio description and closed captioning. Don't miss Real Abilities' 3rd annual film festival, streaming October 16th through the 18th. For ticket information, check out their listing on Eventbrite. And that's a look at some virtual things to do.
That's it for this edition. I'm Natalia Bilbao. From all of us here at LA This Week, thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacdview.org. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. See you next time for more LA This Week.